Welcome back to my kitchen, and I am sorry for the audio. So here's me talking, and it's just maxing out. Like, I'm not saying anything crazy, I'm talking pretty normally. And if I'm quiet, it still has audio, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm going to need to buy a new mic or something, but something weird's happening. So you might be asking yourself, Aaron, what's going on? You have things in front of you and you're doing the intro. I'm pretty sure I welcome you back to my kitchen. If not, welcome back to my kitchen. Today, we're kind of kicking back. We're taking things easy. I'm gonna see how few takes I need to do for this. It's gonna be a good time. But what I'm making is, because it's finally cold outside, we're kind of getting into kind of cozy weather, hence the hoodie. And I wanna make apple pie, but I can't be bothered to make pie dough because it sucks. So what we're gonna do today is essentially an apple pie without the pie. And it's so simple and so easy, I figured I'm just gonna do it all in front of you this way, kind of see how that goes, versus kind of cutting to a bit of like overhead shots, whatnot. We're gonna see how this feels. And also, the ingredients for it all fit into this little dish, which is what we're also gonna bake it in. So I think this is a good recipe to try this on, and we're gonna see if it works. The ingredients for this, because we're just kind of free-forming this, I don't know what's gonna happen, is obviously apples. It calls for 3, but I'm a rule breaker, so I'm doing 4. And then it's also gonna call for 6 tablespoons of melted butter. So we got this bad boy. We're gonna melt that in the microwave post haste. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and it calls for 1/3 cup of sugar, but it does say that if you use brown sugar, it kind of gives it a caramel flavor, and I'm a fan of caramel apples. So, and it also says you could make like a caramel drizzle. And like I said before with the pie dough, I can't be bothered. So we're just doing brown sugar and hoping that does the caramel flavor like the recipe says. And then finally, a little pinch of salt. It says that's optional, but it also says like you can use salted butter or unsalted butter. So I figured a little bit of salt in there, probably a good idea. I'm using unsalted butter. So this just kind of, I mean, anytime you do sweet, you really should put like a little bit of salt in there. There's some science behind it that Alton Brown explained years ago. And I am not gonna do that now because the theme of today is I can't be bothered. So I'm excited to give this a go. I'm hoping that it's good. I'm gonna serve it with a little scoop of ice cream, not homemade, but I still think that's gonna be a really good kind of combo with this. And because of how we're doing things today, we're just gonna get into cooking and see what ramblings I have for you. Hopefully, it should be a short video because there's literally 2 steps, 3 if you count peeling apples. And so the only thing that's gonna take time is if I ramble. So it's probably gonna be like a 30-minute video. So buckle up. Let's kind of organize our setup here a little bit. Okay, so I realized that I don't really have the ability to fast forward through this stuff anymore. So I'm just gonna have to start talking during it and then not talk through the other 3 so that we can just cut ahead, or I can just cut out any parts where I'm not talking. So I don't think I told you what we're doing in this step, but it's essentially just the prep step, and that is going to be to peel the apples, and then we're gonna slice them up, and then that's the extent of pretty much the whole recipe. After that is just mixing everything. Well, I guess we gotta microwave the butter, so we'll get to that in a minute. This whole thing is also a race against the clock because I thought I charged my camera, and then when I turned it on to film, it had 66% left. So that was a fun little surprise. All right, now that we're almost done, I don't know if this recipe would really be negatively affected by having the peel on, but it said to peel, so I'm peeling. Now, obviously, all of these peels, if you have a yard with animals and whatnot, I'm sure they'll love it. So I'm just gonna kind of put mine in this bowl along with the cores when I cut them up, and throw those out for the animals to enjoy. And I'm sure they will be very happy campers. All right, we don't need this anymore. I don't know how this is gonna look for you in terms of me cutting, but this would be a great time that if you had one of those cores where it's just kind of, then you don't have to do all of this. But I don't have one of those, so I gotta do this. Yeah, animals like that. Beautiful. Now, it's just time to slice it all up. I don't know how small they need to be, so good enough. I am thoroughly enjoying not needing to change camera angles. So I'm hoping that this is good, because this will make my life a lot easier. And then I can also show off, I was gonna say, and then I can also show off my talking while chopping skills, and I instantly stop talking to focus on chopping, so I don't have those skills. I thought I did, but I don't. All right, so here we have, good gravy. So here we have it all chopped up. Now, for you at home, you could have popped this in the microwave while doing that, but because I am going to periodically be talking, I didn't want a microwave going on behind me. So I'm gonna turn on the microwave now and not talk, because I don't know what that's gonna do to the audio. So, melt some butter. We didn't need that one. Or that one. I got crap in my oven, so I'm gonna clear that out while that's going on. Beautiful. So, next is just dump everything in here and toss to combine. Oh, you know what? The next step is gonna be the baking, but I'm gonna start the oven now so that it heats up. So, 350. Now my butt's gonna stay warm because it's right next to it. So if you start seeing smoke coming up from behind me, let me know. I don't know what order to do this in, so we're just gonna do the cinnamon first. And it's 2 teaspoons of that. Beautiful. Don't need that anymore. And then the brown sugar. I'm not gonna throw this, because that is glass. And now the salt. Just a little pinch. I'm assuming that's enough. And now, the butter. All right, and then just mix it all up. I mean, I'm kind of doing this to save dishes, but my initial gut feeling right now is doing this in a bowl probably be a lot easier. But I've already, made this decision, and I'm gonna stick to it. But I would recommend for you at home, maybe using a bowl. It's one extra dish, but I feel like you'll probably get a much better mix out of all of this. There we go. And now we wait for the oven to finish heating up. We probably should have started that a little bit sooner, but I didn't think that this was gonna be this quick. I've only been filming for 16 minutes. So, it's a pretty good time. A little snacky for me. So while we're waiting for the oven, I will say, I'm using Granny Smith apples. The recipe says you can use a handful of different ones. I can't remember their names. I know Honeycrisp was one. I can kind of feel the names there, but they're not coming to me. But I use Granny Smith because that's my go-to for apple pie, and I just like Granny Smith. So it's a tasty treat for me to eat because I bought a bag of it, so I have some leftovers. But you can pretty much use probably whatever apple you want here. It's a matter of taste, so whatever you like, go with that. This is a pretty easy recipe, just do whatever you want. You're baking apples. Just throw an apple in the oven, see what happens. Now we're cooking with fire. All right, so now throw the apples in the oven at 350 for 25 minutes. Don't burn your hands. All right, and I will see you in 25 minutes to taste test. All right, so here we have it. Smells fantastic. I'm assuming it's gonna taste fantastic because I mean, it's none of these ingredients, you can't really go wrong with any of them. Like butter, brown sugar, apples, all delicious. And then you bake them in the oven for a couple of minutes. I'm suspecting this is gonna be a real good one. So let's give this a taste and we'll see how that goes. So let's try one just on its own, no ice cream. I mean, delicious. Now let's try a little bit with ice cream, see if that adds anything. So that is delicious. I will say that if you make it on its own, which I feel like, it's probably okay to like eat on its own. I feel like this needs something kind of with it, but on its own, I like it how it is because it has like a little bit of a crunch to it. But with the ice cream, I would probably rather put it in the oven for a little bit longer, kind of make it a little bit more mushy, because then it would fuse with the ice cream just a little bit better, rather than kind of having that crunch, which it forces you to chew it versus the ice cream just kind of melts. So that is kind of my one negative, but it smells great, super simple, tastes delicious. I'd give this a recommend because it took like 5 minutes of prep work and then 25 minutes in the oven, so it's like 30 minutes overall, and you have a kind of quick, tasty little dessert. I am curious to see how this will reheat because obviously I'm not gonna eat all this right now. So I'm gonna pop that in the fridge. I don't know how I'm gonna approach, like if I'm just gonna throw it in the microwave or maybe like the oven again. I don't know how I'm gonna reheat it, but I'll let you know in text someplace how that goes and also like what method I used for that. But yeah, so delicious, give it a go. Super simple, anybody can handle this one. And I will kind of little bit of admin. No video next week because it's Thanksgiving. So like obviously this is gonna be coming out like right before Thanksgiving, but I filmed stuff like the week before. So I will be having Thanksgiving instead of filming. And then after that, it's December. We're gonna do something fun for that. I haven't fully decided what yet, but it'll be something thematic. And then it's a new year and a whole new session of fun new recipes. So obviously if you have any recommendations on stuff that I should try, send it my way. But I also will just find random stuff to do because I like to eat and I like to make new things. So this is a fun little exercise on just finding new recipes, at least one per week. So I'm enjoying it. Hopefully you're liking it. And on that note, bye Mom, still not dead. See you.